play first. Another questionable hand, but certainly something that we can keep. Jeskai Sage and let's go the Hidden Way is fine. We don't want to cast Force Away just to buy us a little time, but we can if we have to. I think I'll take this over a random 6. Really 2 chances to draw a land, and then we're more or less fine with this. Hope it's not a blue land. Anything else would be fine. Opponent is green and okay. Great card. Could have used it a little later. So we are pretty close to just being punished for this keep. Even a tap land here isn't great for us, but at least gets us unstuck. Green and white. So potentially Abzan. Potentially 5 colors. Thinking he gets the land here. Curious if this is a 5-color deck. I mean, Anakgad is fine in Abzan too, especially it has the upside of potentially being able to play it with the counter and enabling any Outlast abilities from your other creatures. But I don't think it's just a reasonable card in Abzan in general, but it might be a really important card if you're playing 5 colors. I'm going to be able to tutor up some lands. Only downside of that is the 5-color deck generally wants to play as many duels as it can get, and you have to play at least one of each basic if you're going to count on Anakgad to help you out with mana fixing. Okay, this opponent is getting a land. What that means is we're probably just running our Jeskai Sage into Anakgad here. I think regardless. He just got a plane, so not like an overly ambitious 5-color plan, it looks like. Whenever I see like an odd color combination like this to start, it could just look this way. He's probably Abzan, but he didn't get a swamp, so that makes me think he has a swamp already. But I always think, oh, okay, he has Dromoka. He drafted Dromoka, and then he ended up green-white. Splash, whatever. Opponent is playing pretty slowly. So Reality Shift at least, and Force Away, you know, we can prolong this game. But really we want those kind of tempo plays when we already have pressure on board. Not nearly as good if they're just buying us time. And there's the Jungle Hollow. Another 2-drop. I just keep this guy back at this point. I don't really... Force Away and Reality Shift aren't doing anything for INAC Guide. Good chance our opponent plays something a little better this turn though. I don't think our opponent wants to give us an extra draw step here, but I guess anything's possible. So we can either, I think we want to hold off on Vault Breaker because I don't really have anything I want to discard to it. I don't really know between Force Away and Reality Shift what I might need from my deck. I think I just keep Jeskai Sage back. That 1 point of damage that it's potentially getting in. I don't care as much about drawing a card. It's playing good defense. Basically, I'm keeping it now because of the prowess upside. It just has not had many plays. Okay, Armament Corps. That's fine. See what he wants to do here. Usually, I'm guessing it's a 3-3 and a 4-4. No. Well, that's fine. Yeah, I think I just take 2. I mean, I don't care that much about a Jeskai Sage. Clearly, I can't bounce these guys. I mean, the Armament Corps especially. Only going to offer the Jeskai Sage. I know he probably doesn't want to block it, but it's turns in right now. I can trade. It turns into a chump blocker. And if I attack with both, he almost assuredly trades the Manifest for the Morph unless the Manifest is something really good. And that's not great for us. Kind of okay with just taking 4 here. Although I'll certainly consider blocking as well. So he can easily flip something up there. I think to prevent a blowout, we just trade like this. Or try to trade. You could also have a trick. This is a game where we're pretty far behind right now, but we can easily catch up because our opponent has played 3 extra lands. Not that that's a problem yet. He's probably okay with 6 lands, but if he gets too many more lands than this, it's just not great value. Okay, that's fine. I'll trade my Morph for an Abzan Charm. And then I'll probably keep Jeskai Sage and Force Away up next turn, depending on what happens here. depending on what I draw, basically. I don't have a ton that's good. I mean, I can cast Glacial Stalker face down, but it takes me 2 more turns to get it back up. I'm hoping to draw a land, but I'm not sure that I do anything if I draw a land. I may still just keep Jeskai Sage and Force Away back. I'm really trying to draw 2 lands so I can get to Aven Surveyor and Glacial Stalker face up. This is where, I mean, this is fine as a 4-drop anyway, but really don't want to dash this out. Even though I wouldn't mind the loot, it's going to feel so bad to just use that 3 mana. Well, I still don't think I'm using that yet. I think I'm just staying back. But it's an option at least. Say if he tries to fight the manifest on the Jeskai Sage or something. I don't know why he'd do that, but Force Away on the Einot Guide I think is a little bit better. Worst case scenario, it lets him fetch another land to the top of his library, which I can't imagine he wants to do right now. So it comes back down as a 2/2. I'm not too worried about that. And then of course I'm trying to trade off the Jeskai Sage with the manifest. Another option is to tap Einot Guide, deal 2 damage to the manifest. That doesn't do a ton for me, especially if the manifest is something he can turn up. So, low risk block here. Force Away does put us down a card, essentially, but it significantly downgrades this. It kind of doesn't put us down a card, I guess, because it takes care of this manifest. Well, which was also... We're definitely down a card or 2 here, but I still think these are all good plays. Okay, it feels like our opponent, I don't know what he's doing exactly. We've been at 3 lands the whole game, and this is the best pressure he's been able to muster. I guess he's holding like all removal spells. Opponent is lagging. Wow. I guess our opponent really didn't want us to draw a card there, but that was pretty good for us. I mean, I'm not sure if he thought this would survive, but good to know that this is in our opponent's deck, although I don't think there's much we can do about it. Opponent is complaining about lag. And it's our old friend the Einot Guide. We certainly seem to have found some time to do some things. Opponent is just not doing much. I think he must have a lot of removal spells, but our deck, I don't know, it's not super susceptible to that, I don't think. I'm most likely just casting my Glacial Stalker here, but now I think I play Alpine Grizzly. Or, you know what? I'm going to use my mana effectively and cast Wall Breaker. I'm not super eager to use this loot because I don't think any card in my hand is bad for us right now. And we're not really trying to loot lands away yet either, so, but just to get that out there, it gives us some flexibility. If we drew another green source, we can play Alpine Grizzly and Savage Punch in the same turn. We can't do that with a Vault Breaker. Okay. Well, we can kill Einot Guide and tap Rotting Mastodon, get in for 6, and then hopefully bounce Rotting Mastodon next turn. I think that's the way I want to play it. Opponent is from Europe and is experiencing a lot of lag. Nothing on my side. Huh. Now maybe I'm getting lag? Oh, there we go. Huh. I wonder if something is going on Moto, or if this is just a normal lag. I still think I'm proceeding with the plan here. So we'll tap this guy. Okay, there we go. Question is, do we loot for anything here? Certainly not Savage Punch, Surveyor, Glacial Stalker I think is good for us. And you have to discard first, so I don't think we're looting anything. Longshot Squad is just fine. May have to reboot Moto if this keeps up. I feel like our opponent must have removal spells. 5 cards in hand. I mean, you could have double black. Archers. Okay. I think this is going to be the best use of our mana. Doesn't really help us punch through anything here, but Archers of Karsi isn't really blocking anything, it's just trading. And Longshot Squad can get big enough to Savage Punch a Rotting Mastodon eventually, which we kind of hope this game doesn't get to that point, but it could. Opponent is not like slow playing any creatures or anything, so we're not too worried about that yet. Just playing out our dudes. Setting up for like Even Surveyor, Savage Punch turn, most likely. Opponent could have all kinds of tricks in his colors, including Become Immense, we know was going around. That's a beating. And Feat of Resistance. Lots of stuff that could be there. This Morph is interesting. It could be something that we want to kill. That attack makes me think our opponent has something. A combat trick. It just doesn't make a ton of sense otherwise. I think we want to just punch here. See what happens. Lots of possible tricks here, but it's gonna become immense. Okay. You got it, dude. So that guy still trades down for all of our dudes. I kind of think we just attack in here. I should have kept. No, I wanted to be able to cast Even Surveyor this turn. I was thinking I should have kept an extra land, but I'm not sure that's true. So this guy's pretty good. Do I really want to lose him? I don't want to just get this guy eaten. Well, maybe I don't care that much about that. So opponent does not want to trade his morph. Which means I think we're bouncing it. Because it might not be that exciting of a card, but Rotting Mastodon only has 2 power. It's not much of a clock. And Glacial Stalker just stonewalls Rotting Mastodon. If this is something like a Abzan Guide, it's a problem. And we'll find out what it is. It's an Abzan Guide. So this keeps him from attacking with it for another turn. Gives us a chance to maybe find removal for it, although we don't have a ton because we need to cast a Glacial Stalker first. See if you cast 2 morphs here, maybe. I don't know why else he would cast it face down when I'm tapped out. It's just costing him 8 mana instead of 5. Or 6, I mean. But that is exactly what he does, so that's fine. I have no issue getting in here. Opponent says I'm winning with time. This is going pretty slow. Sandblast for the flyer. Clears the way for Glacial Stalker. There's a good chance our opponent has combat trick, like Awaken the Bear. I think I still just block. I mean, I'm not gonna win if I'm just letting Abzan Guide attack, so we'll do what we have to. Alright, let's see how we're getting blown out. I'm not valuing this Jeskai Sage very highly. I'd like to let it draw me another card deeper in my deck. Bear's Companion is pretty good. If we draw Dig Through Time off the top, I'll be feeling pretty good. Okay, Map the Waste makes his Abzan Guide a little bigger. It's pretty good against us, actually. Bear's Companion can still double block, but it's pretty good. And I'm just going to play out my island. If our opponent has any discard spell, it's going to be discard 2. So no reason to keep a land in hand. And if he has a Despise, then it doesn't take Weave Fate anyway. I don't want to make it sound like I am overly worried about discard spells. It's just a lot of times that's the only real consideration. This is only 1 card, even though it's 2 bodies. So I'm going to see if he wants to trade it for... It's either going to trade for this creature, half of it will trade for the creature without a trick, or both cards will trade for a trick. Like Awaken the Bear followed by Unmorph, or even like any combat trick is pretty bad for us, but what are we going to do, not block? Yeah, I mean, we had to block. So our opponent does gain a ton of life, but that aside, that wasn't really that bad for us. Now things are getting bad. Opponent is basically just trying to win this game as quickly as possible at this point. I'm not going to block because I can always chump block next turn if that's the plan, to prolong the game. Or I could just draw something like Awaken the Bear. Hopefully eat this Abzan guide and be at 1 life. We show our opponent a combat trick this way, but we're actually not. We're not just outright dead here. And now we are dead. And we'll let our opponent attack us. So looking at opponent's deck, anything we have to be really worried about? Not too much. Is Counterspell good for anything in particular? For removal spells? For Become Immense, I guess it's good. He can put himself into a questionable attack thinking he has Become Immense or Sandblast up, and then we can counter it. Winterflame seems just mediocre. So I'm either taking out, I think, Force Away or Winterflame. Is Force Away right? Maybe I keep Force Away and I lose Frostwalker. Although I think our opponent's deck was a little bit on the slow side. So is there anything else that we can lose? Yeah, I think I just take out Force Away and keep Rakshasa's Disdain. It's a little more powerful of a card. This is fine. Obviously we want to see red mana, but 3 mana and a 3-drop is fine. Presumably, usually if you have 3 lands, you can assume you're going to hit your 4th land drop on time. Pretty rare that you wouldn't. That's a nice draw. So I'll probably put down Bloodfire Expert. It doesn't really matter, but it's a little bit weaker if he wants to kill my first creature. Now I'm leaning more towards just playing my Grizzly Bear. Takes a little more for him to blow out Grizzly Bear. I don't think my opponent really wants to attack here, but we'll see how aggressive he's feeling. Yeah, alright. That's great, because this guy still goes back to just being a 2-4. And it's not like we don't have anything to crack back with. So we will get in for our 4 gladly. Play our long shot squad. We do start to need a removal spell here. He's, getting close to Map the Waste, accelerates his clock a little bit, gets him pretty close to casting something that's hard for us to deal with. So, got to be a little bit on the lookout for, say, Hardcast Abzan Guide. That's pretty tricky for us to deal with. So we're at 5 mana, a little bit awkwardly. We will get in. Opponent could have Sandblast, depending on what he wanted to cast it on. I think we just get this guy out there. We are pretty close to just a lethal turn here, depending on what he does. If you say just cast a Rotting Mastodon, we're pretty close to just winning. So, I guess we try this. And even if our opponent has a removal spell here, yeah, so we win that one. Gotta get one more though. Force Away, Active Treason. These are all cards that I would normally find a spot for, but I just don't think I have a spot for them. I need the creatures that I have. We haven't seen Jeskai Windscout at all. But I think we need all the creatures that we have, and all our spells are pretty good too. So last time I put in Disdain and took out Force Away. That might have been, I don't know. It's always tricky, these things on the play versus the draw. Disdain can just be bad. I mean, you can end up having nothing happen. Although same can be true of Force Away, where it just doesn't do much. I'm going to switch back. I'm a little more afraid of not being able to do anything than I am of countering a bomb. Alright, so we're on the 3-drop morph plan, barring some other draw. We don't have a lot of 2-drops in our deck. We've actually seen the ones we do have quite a few times, but we only have 2 2-drops creatures. Not where I usually want to be. But they do keep appearing, so that's not a bad thing. See what happens here. It's a morph, which we will, I think, gladly just kill this turn. Although, it's not really a priority to kill either, so I think we'll wait a turn. Okay, that can't possibly be anything that frightening. Opponent missed a land drop, which I think means I just want to go like this. This is when Force Away is really good. Your opponent misses a land drop, trying to stabilize. We can take care of the creature he has on board, and then we can deal with his next creature too. We're in pretty good shape here. biggest threat to us right now, I think, is him drawing 2 lands into a Death Frenzy, or really any other sweeper. So definitely next chance we get, we'll flip up a morph guy. That's fine. Cannot flip any of our dudes, but we're winning pretty quickly here. And this Weave Fate will most likely draw us. Kill shot on Glacial Stalker, I think I'm fine with that. Not really interested in reality shifting my own creature there. So that slows down our clock, but it's still pretty strong. So basically drew 1 more land than our opponent, but that's probably going to be enough to get us there. Man, we can't even... I guess we just try to flip this up. If he has another kill spell, that's fine. We're still way ahead. Okay, that's fine. So in retrospect, we know we would have been better off with a different play there, but we still have a lot of action, including Vault Breaker with dash. Opponent is just not drawing lands, apparently. I think all I'm doing this turn is playing Jeskai Wind Scout. My dog is losing her mind again. So let's get Wind Scout out there. Force away up. Which we might just wait to cast until our turn. Yeah, if it's even a question. I guess I should have just cast yeah, I should have just cast Vault Breaker there. Would have been lethal. But not a big deal. Cast Mystic, that's lethal next turn, and that's good enough. Alright, so not bad. It was just a Swiss, but we 3-0'd and we picked up a dick through time. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back soon.